All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to use 2 blocks and a blanket. If you have those things, awesome. If you don't have those things, that's okay. You can work without them. I just think it's fun to play with props. And today we're going to play with a rolled blanket. I'd like for you to, I'm going to give you some loose dimensions because we don't all have the same blanket. But I'm using like a big yoga blanket that is like way bigger than myself. And when I fold it in half, it's probably about the length of myself. And then I'm going to fold it in half again from there. Okay? And it's like half of my length, half of the length of me. That's all you need. You want you just take a second with it, take a deep breath, move your way through it, move it, and iron it out. Sometimes we create blanket shapes and it's not really that big of a deal, but I'd like for this one to be a pretty tight roll and to be as lump-free as possible. Realistically, it's not going to be totally lump-free. Or maybe you're an expert blanket roller and that's something I'd like to learn. So then we're going to take our rolled blanket and sit right on the edge of it and tuck it under our thighs. So we're creating this little seat for ourselves. Okay? So sitting right on the middle of my roll, I'm going to tuck the ends under my thighs. And then I have this lovely little seat that I'm sitting on. The 2 blocks, if you've got them, I'm going to do one to the right, one to the left. Okay? And then we're going to start a little work. So once you're settled in your seat and you feel good, give yourself permission to omit props as needed, to add them as needed. You know your body. And give yourself permission. I'm going to offer things where you would touch your face. I'm going to offer an alternate nostril breath. I'm going to offer putting your head on your hands later. You don't have to. If that doesn't feel right for you, that's please. If you are going to do that with me, that's what I'm going to guide you into. Okay? So left hand rests. Just take a moment and feel your body and take a deep breath. And where do you want your left hand to rest? And how does it feel to join the index and thumb together? Connecting you to universe, universe to you. You are one. You are this loop that you've made in your fingers. Kind of connecting to your system. You'll take your right hand and take your 2 peace fingers, index and middle, and place them at the base of your thumb. And if that's awkward for your hand, I understand. And I'll give you a variation later. But if this feels okay, let's sit Vishnu Mudra on our lap. And start to breathe with intention. With steadiness. And with ease. So that your breath is moving through you like waves. And if you produce a bit of a whisper by closing off your vocal cords, if you push the breath against your vocal cords, then your breath will also sound like waves. And maybe your body feels a little more supple as you wave the breath through it. Keep focusing on this steady flow. Take your right hand up in front of your nose. If the mudra is too difficult, then take your peace fingers on your forehead instead of at the base of your thumb. Let's together inhale completely. And then together, we're going to close the right nostril with the thumb and exhale through the left side. Inhale left. Close the left nostril with ring and pinky. Release right. Exhale. Inhale right. Close right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close both. Release right. Exhale. Inhale right. Close both. Release left. Exhale. Inhale left. Close both. Release right. Exhale. I'm using a 5 count. Inhale right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 1. Release left. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 1. Exhale right. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Switch. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Final round. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Switch. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Switch. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. All the way up to the top. All the way up to the top. Hold at the top. 4. Keep holding. 3. Keep holding. 2. Sip in a little more air. Keep holding. 1. And exhale. All the way back out. Try to smooth it out. Try to smooth it out. That exhale wants to be really erratic, but you're going to keep it smooth. And then the next inhale is smooth. And the next exhale is smooth. And then you just have more access to your breath and more access to those waves. Let's reach our arms up as we inhale and exhale. Drop our right hand to the right. I'm dropping my hand to the block. I like that. You can use that if you like. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right and hold. Inhale to widen through your collarbones so you do not feel that either shoulder is popping forward. You can go as deeply as you like, but you do want both hips to be down and your head to be back. Feel free to place your hand behind your head for a nice support for your head and neck. And then try looking up. And then try stretching up. And then widen your chest again. On your next inhale, lift yourself back upright. I'm going to take this block a little bit back, this block to my right, a little bit back, and then turn to my right thigh. My chest turns about to my right thigh, and honestly, it stops there. Like, I can't turn my chest all the way to the right side of the room. For you, turn however deeply, you just naturally turn without your hips getting involved or your shoulders moving, and stay in that twist. Hold the twist from your middle. And then from your head, just give your head a gentle side to side. Just gliding. If you think about moving from the back of your skull, it might even be a lighter movement, a nicer movement on your neck. Look behind you for just a moment. Look in front of you and then come out of the pose. Inhale, stretch your arms up. We're going to go again. Exhale to the second side. That's my left. Second side. And then we're going to flow. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. And this is the one. Exhale, left, and hold. And you can start kind of small. And then ease into your pose and just find right where it begins, right where the stretch begins. Hand behind the head, head back. Look up, collarbones wide, stretch top arm up. Press both hips down. Okay, inhale back to center and exhale to the left, taking a twist. I have my left hand on a block. It helps to keep that left side of my body nice and long. Right? Trying to keep my two shoulders level, trying to keep my two sides of my chest wide. And if you like the head movement, do it again. Notice if you're gripping at your hip flexors, that might mean that your hips are trying to help you a little too much. Scoop your navel in and up, twist from your middle. Look forward, come out of the twist. Take your legs out in front of you and then make a diamond shape with your legs. Hands can be on the floor to your legs. And just try to arch into extension and round into flexion. Inhale, arch. Try to get your pelvis to move here. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, center. Take your hands behind you, or even take the block flat and wide to the floor behind you and push down to lift up really tall. Not only to lift up really tall, keep your pelvis neutral, but lift up and curl into your chest. Curl into a little upper back bend. You can feel your upper back working to help hold this. You can feel this broadening across the front of your chest. One more breath. And then slowly make your way out of the back bend. And let's try a supported back bend for just a minute, and then we'll add some movement to it. We're going to straighten out our roll. We're going to put it lengthwise on our mat, and we're going to put our spine along the roll. This is why I was so particular about how you rolled it. Sit down in front of it. Have your blocks within reach. And then recline, spine along the rolled blanket. And maybe you get into this and you're like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. Or maybe you get into it and you're like, that's weird. We all have different reactions to all these poses, and that's why I give you so many options with these different rolls and different approaches to the poses. Okay, we're using the roll today to feel these things differently. So for today, can you lengthen through the back of your neck? Can you shuffle your hips until they feel really heavy? If you need some support for your legs, we can take the blocks at the second height, wide, behind our thighs, and then tilt them a little bit so the flat edge of the block touches our thigh. Try it. See if you like it. And then as far as the minute we're going to spend here, take a deep breath in. I'm setting a timer. And completely exhale. Feel the front body pouring into your back body. The front body pouring down into your back body. At this moment, your breath can be light. You do not have to control it. The only thing you're trying to do is to give in to gravity at this moment. Feel your back muscles settling down around that roll. Everything getting closer to the floor. This is so cozy. If you want to stay, please stay. Enjoy. Bend your knees. If you're not staying, bend your knees, plant your feet, and we're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up, left leg straight. Exhale, arms down, left leg bent. Inhale, arms up, right leg straight. Exhale, back down, back to center. Left leg. Right leg. Left leg. Cross your right ankle, straight leg, over your left ankle, both legs straight. Grab your right wrist, it's straight above your head, and then lengthen through the right side of your body. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. You're doing a slight side bend. Inhale, come back to center. Stretch your right leg straight, your left leg on top, ankles pulling into each other. Arms up, grab left wrist, slide, left side stretch. Inhale, back to center. And when you roll onto the side of your body, roll into a fetal position and let your back round out and smooth out a little bit. And breathe into that space where the blanket was. And then eventually lift yourself up a little bit. We're going to come to hands and knees with the rolled blanket where our feet are. I'm going to put it back here at the back of my mat, just based on where you are. But you can put it in the most convenient spot on your mat and just turn away from it, putting the top of your ankles on that roll. And we'll press down through the ankles, spread out through the hands. Neutral spine. Inhale, extend into cow pose. Shoulder blades on the back, open front body. Exhale, sit toward child's. Inhale, extend into cow pose. Exhale into cat pose, and then into child's. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, child's. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, child's. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Child's pose, resting in child's for a moment. I put my feet a little bit closer together. You could also take your legs a little bit wider apart, your knees wider. Reach through your arms, push your hips back. push your toes down into the floor, your ankles down into the roll. Inhale, pull yourself up to hands and knees. Step in front of the rolled blanket, okay? Spread out those hands and push up and back into downward facing dog, pushing your heels into the rolled blanket. Maybe heels or maybe arches of feet. What fits better? Tone our outer upper arms, squeeze them toward each other. You probably want to rock through your legs a little bit, walk it out, bend one knee, stretch the other leg out straight. Give your legs a moment to warm up. Maybe later when we do our down dog with the roll, you'll notice how much more your legs can help you. Right now, your legs probably just feel kind of tight. So you feel free to take your legs wide, bent. Take the space you need. Okay, and let's move a little. Inhale, shifting forward into plank. Can also come to hands and knees, you guys. Exhale into downward dog. Keep pressing back through your heels. Inhale, plank, but not just back through your heels. Front of thighs press into back of thighs. And then not just that, inhale, plank, heels back, thighs up, toes down. Exhale into downward facing dog, and then suddenly you have the most strong legs ever. Inhale, stay in down dog, please. And then we're going to exhale, walk our hands back a foot. Walk our feet behind the rolled blanket. Walk our hands all the way back, all the way back. You might grab some blocks on the way if they happen to be there. If they don't, it's okay. Grab a hold of your rolled blanket, hunker down through your legs. Make your legs really strong, bend them, strengthen your belly, and then roll everything all the way up until you can reach your weight into the air. And then keep the length in the front of your spine as you take your rolled blanket and sit it on the top of your thighs. Lower pelvis, top of thighs. Okay, so heads of femurs, pubic bone. Press back, sit the hips back. My knees are behind my toes. So sit your hips back and down. Press down through that rolled blanket. It'll make more sense in a moment. For right now, we're just trying to keep our thighs back a little bit. Arch and round. Let's go back to cat-cow. Arch and round. We're trying to make a supple psoas. We're trying to make some room. The psoas is this incredible hip flexor muscle that goes from the top of our thigh bone. Keep going, cat-cow, use your breath. Through your pelvis, behind your digestive organs, and connects to your thoracic spine. Come to center. Inhale, stand up nice and tall. Exhale, bend into your legs again. Press the blanket back and then reach up and over the blanket. Your navel is the thing reaching. Up and over your blanket to fold yourself in over your legs. And your legs are a little wider than your hips, right? You're giving yourself room. Your knees can certainly be bent. And if the blanket doesn't stay, then hold it. Yeah, just hold it. If you need a block because your hands don't easily touch the floor, then use a block. Or use your shins. We've got 5 breaths here, you guys. And the purpose of the roll is that it's pushing the heads of the femurs back. It's creating this grounding, this rooting feeling by getting us into the back of our body. It's creating the space between the hips and the navel. It's making our low abdomen scoop in and up so that we're making space where that psoas is. Where we get really tight when we're sitting for long periods of time. It can get tight just from being stressed. It's the muscle that activates when we pop into fight or flight because it's going to help us fight or kick or flight and run. So one more breath here. And then we're gonna carefully come up out of the pose, careful of your back, right? Keep your belly strong. Take our hands to that rolled blanket and then reach it all the way up. And just make your body so long, like you're just getting up in the morning. And please take the the blanket, and put it down. Where do we want it? Let's just put it down right in front of our feet for now. Inhale, sweep your arms way up in the air. Okay, and then exhale, fold yourself in again, Uttanasana without the blanket, but can you mirror having the blanket there? Can you imagine that it's still there? The upper thighs are back. That doesn't mean your knees are locked back, right? You have some power right above the kneecap, quads strong. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold back in. And then inhale, slowly reach up to standing. And exhale, hands come all the way down by your sides. Shift onto your left foot. Hug your right leg in towards your chest. And then squeeze the heel toward the sit bone. Squeeze like you're holding on to something. You might have to be careful of that. You might have to point your foot. You might just not squeeze that much, okay? I know that this is not great for everyone's body. If this is possible to squeeze, we're squeezing, and then we're seeing if, and this might not be reasonable, if our knee can point down toward the floor while we're squeezing. And then if that's okay, then we're leveling our hips and we're just standing here and engaging our hamstrings like crazy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's come out of the pose. Let's step our right toes onto the rolled blanket, heel on the floor. Our left leg back a foot or two. Square our hips to the front of the mat. Inhale here and exhale, fold in a little bit. Bear with me. Inhale here, press your thighs back, the tops of your femurs back, and fold in a little bit more. And maybe your block's there, or maybe you can reach the rolled blanket, right? You're not overreaching, you're just going right to that beginning of the stretch in the hamstrings and the calf in this case. Okay, one more breath. And then we're going to step our feet next to each other. Inhale, lift up halfway. Step your feet next to each other behind the rolled blanket. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, sweep your arms slowly up to the sky. And as you exhale, drop your hands all the way down by your sides. Gonna shift onto the right foot. Bring the left leg in, and you might stay here. Squeeze your heel into your sit bone. Point the knee down. Each of those is a step. They can go together or they cannot, okay? So listening to your body. Hips level, squeezing heel to sit bone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking that leg out of that position, shaking it out as we need to. Toes on the rolled blanket. Pushing down, getting a bit of a calf stretch. Back foot steps back a little bit. Both thighs press back as we fold ourselves in over this left leg. Deep breath here, pyramid pose. I'm pressing down really firmly through the big toe side of my left foot. My foot in this scenario tends to roll toward the pinky side. So notice where your foot is rolling. Is it doing the same? Then push down through your big toe more. Is it doing the opposite? Then push down through your pinky toe more. One more breath. Keeping those wave-like breaths. And then we're gonna lift up halfway, step our feet both behind the rolled blanket, and fold ourselves all the way in. Okay, inhale, stand yourself all the way up. And exhale here. Roll out your shoulders a little bit, move them around until they feel a little bit warmed up. And then see if it's okay to take your hands to your hips, elbows back. If it's okay to interlace your fingers, notice which index is on top. And if all this is okay, maybe you stretch out your arms, engage your upper back, and press your arms away from you. Think about looking through the back of your skull so that your eyes soften, your neck softens, maybe your jaw softens a little bit. Maybe step your feet out wider than your hips, put a bend in your knees, fold in halfway, only halfway. Inhale here, and if there's more room for you to go, keep your chest wide, fold all the way. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, stand all the way up, reach your arms up in the air. Exhale, dive yourself down, folding in over your legs. Put your block to the side. Walk yourself forward. You can come right into down dog or come into child's pose. We're gonna put our heels on our rolled blanket. Press our heels down. Inhale and exhale. Follow the breath into plank. Inhale, plank. Use your legs, heels back, toes down. Thighs up. Exhale, chaturanga, keeping your legs so strong. Chaturanga is the push-up. Inhale, tops of the feet down. Curl your chest up a little bit. Exhale, drop yourself down. Take your hands a little wider. Inhale, chest wide. Curl up a little bit. Exhale, roll back down. You're just a wave. You're just a cool ocean. Inhale, roll yourself up into cobra. Stay there. Exhale, shoulders away from ears. Inhale here. And exhale, roll down. We're gonna get out of here. Inhale, push up, hands and knees or plank. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath. We're gonna step our right foot forward. Again, if this doesn't serve you, you can take your foot wide. You can keep your back knee, or you can keep your back knee up, okay? The pose I'm stepping you into is Anjaneyasana, putting our front heel in line with our right hip, rolling ourselves up to a lifted position. If you're here and you're like, my back knee is not enjoying this, you can pad your back knee. You could try your back ankle on that roll. You could keep your hands down. I know that's a million options for this pose, but I really just want you to think about the movement of your pelvis. So whatever helps you to be comfortable here, let's do this. Inhale, arch our back. Exhale, round our back. In other words, inhale, top of the pelvis goes forward. Can you see that? Big curve in my low back. Exhale, top of the pelvis goes back. I'm tucking. Inhale, center, 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 hips at the same level. And then we can go forward a little bit, but we're not collapsing the top of the pelvis so our back arches. So we feel it in our left thigh, our left quads. This is it. This is the pose. If you'd like to add the rest of the back bend, you can reach your arms up. You could take your hands behind your skull, press back. This right thigh is super strong because that heel's pulling down and back. Right, just play with it. Couple of breaths. If you're upright with me, let's try one more thing. Since we have our blocks here, take our block to our right, put our right hand on our block, take our left arm in the air, inhale, and exhale a little lean into that right block. A little reach and a lean to the right. Look out of the eyes through the back of your skull. Be aware of the back of your body. One more breath. And then inhale, come out of the pose. Exhale, make your way back into down dog. If you're moving along with me, we're gonna go from downward facing dog into plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Keep your thighs back for all those poses. Inhale here. Exhale, left foot forward. Your pose of choice, given this new side of your body. Cat-cow in your pelvis, arch, tuck, neutral. Hips at the same height. Send both hips equally forward like the outer hips are enveloping the front hips, so your low back is wide. And we're here. We're pushing our back foot down, regardless of how it's placed on the floor, we're pressing it down. Front leg super strong. If you're adding to the pose, you're going to add from your side body. You're going to add from your chest, from your thoracic spine, and maybe you curl into it. That breath is moving your body. Try to move that breath, those waves, also into your hip flexor. So it's not so taut that there's no give. Take your block to your left, right arm up, inhale, exhale, little lean to the left, little lean to the left. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, step yourself back to hands and knees. We're eventually going back to down dog. We're having an option to take a vinyasa if we feel like that's a fun thing to do and we can do it safely. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Getting more room already. Inhale, hop halfway up your mat, wide, halfway up your mat, wide feet, toes turn out, heels turn in, sit your hips back and down, malasana. 5. You've got blocks, right? You can sit on a block. 4. If your knees don't like this, come up more, so it's more like a chair. 3, squeeze our heels toward each other, make our legs strong. 2, if you've been working with me, I know you're fearing what you think could happen. I think I'm gonna make it happen. Reach your arms forward, lift up only 1/3 of the way and exhale. And then lift up 2/3 of the way and exhale. And then lift up all the way. Parallel your feet, hands together at the center of your chest. Half sun salute, inhale, reach up. Maybe you even take your hands behind your head and take a little back bend. And then recruit your abdominals to take you out of the back bend and fold you all the way over, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold back in, Uttanasana. Imagine that rolled blanket under your belly. Inhale, sweep all the way up really deliberately, nice and slow. Exhale, hands down. Shift onto your left foot. When you're ready, ground down through that left foot. Take your right leg, and we're going to take a thigh stretch. So maybe you take your leg forward and grab your foot and point your knee down. Trying to think of other options. You could also have your leg back and then just grab your foot from there. You could also do this on the ground, laying on your belly. From here, we're coming into dancer pose maybe. Hips level, okay? Knee pointing down. Strengthen your hamstrings like you did when you were trying to pull your heel to your sit bone. Strengthen your hamstrings and just push your leg back. Try not to dip your chest forward. Just push your leg back as far back as it'll go. And then steady, stabilize your pelvis and lift nice and tall, and you have this big, powerful chest. Left arm forward. Maybe you start to lean forward a little bit, and then maybe your leg can lift up a tiny bit more. Square your hips to the front, left hip back and under, left knee can bend. Okay, dancer pose, you guys. 5, 4, maybe that left hand comes behind your skull. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, carefully come out of the pose. And exhale, lower your leg down to the floor. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, make cactus arms and twist to your right. Inhale, reach both arms up. Make cactus arms and twist to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands down. Half sun salute. Inhale, curl up, maybe a back bend. Oh, that right leg has so much more room. Exhale, fold ourselves in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold ourselves in. Inhale, all the way lift. Exhale, hands to our sides. Take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the suppleness in your body as you sway a little bit and make your way into side two. Right foot balancing, left leg up, grabbing the top of the ankle, top of the foot, pointing the knee down. Do we need a wall? Great, we use a wall. Do we need something to hold the foot with? Great, we use whatever's near. Strap, towel, tie. Engage the back of your thigh and press your leg back, but keep your torso upright. Stretch your arm forward, tip your chest a little forward, and oh, there's so much more room. You can push your leg back more. Square your hips. Right hip back. Left leg turned internally. Okay, and then dancer pose. Maybe your right hand comes behind your skull and you press back and you have this beautiful supported neck. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll come all the way out of the pose and stand firmly on both feet. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive yourself down. Take your time. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog, please. You can stay there. Inhale, plank pose. Legs are strong. Exhale, chaturanga, legs are still strong. Inhale, cobra or up dog, legs are still strong. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here for a few breaths or take child's pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, laying down on our belly. Please put your head on your hands. Put the tops of your feet on the blanket. And I'm going to start with the nice version of this. Both sides of your hips down. Right leg lifts up, whole leg lifts up, not bending the knee. Both hips down, thighs turned internally, inner thighs up, lower your leg. Lift your left leg up, both hips down, both sides of your pelvis down. Internally rotating that left thigh, which means your inner thigh is lifting. And exhale, lower down. Step 1 to difficulty. Putting our pelvis on the floor, pulling our navel away from the floor, lifting both legs, straight legs, thighs turned in. 5. If this feels ridiculous, give it a little movement. Kick, swim, kick and swim. 3. Your head can be up or down. 2, 1. Come on down, take a rest. I would wag your tail a little, move your hips a little, rock them out. Make sure they're not getting stuck. Okay, step 2 to difficulty. Bend your right leg. So I'm saying it this way because you don't have to go further. Bend your right leg, push the lower edge of your pelvis down, your pubic bone, navel back. Can you lift your right leg? It doesn't matter, you're just going to try. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, lower down. And then side 2, might have to rock your hips. And then get into it. Might not be able to do this. Might keep your legs straight. Lift for 5. Do your version of the pose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Big breath, big breath, big breath. Navel back, pubic bone down, both sides. Optional. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Rock your hips. Turn your head to the right and let your right leg slide out to the right. Maybe your right arm slides out to the right. Sleeping baby pose or half of frog pose. Stay here for just a little bit longer, taking big breaths into and out from your abdomen. Take belly breaths. See how that feels. Imagine your low back easing up, your digestive organs becoming more supple, your right hip becoming watery. Take your time and come back to center. You could try forehead on the floor, taking your hands into soft fists and taking your knuckles on the lower back and just scrub your lower back. Just scrub your lower back. Right underneath the ribs, between the ribs and the pelvis. Okay, and then lift your head, release your arms, turn your head to the other side and take your left leg out to the side. And can you make your belly breaths here and make them even gentler? Your low back stimulated by your touch. Your belly stimulated by your breath. Your hips stimulated by this pose, and that stimulation can be translated into warmth. And can that warmth help you soften? slowly make your way out of this side of the pose. And again, you can rock your hips. You can give yourself a back massage. Ultimately, let's make our way into a very comfy version of child's pose. And I've actually been enjoying taking child's pose with the rolled blanket under my forehead. So if it's fairly easy to make that happen, you could try that. I have my toes together, knees wide, forehead and elbows on this roll, and then I just stretch it out. But you can also do legs together in child's pose. You can also lay on your back and hug your knees. What serves you? What keeps you in this place of feeling like you can create movement, like you can create some sort of softness in your hip flexors, belly, low back. Please continue to rest in your child's pose for a few more solid breaths, these super deep breaths. Letting the breath brush against any of those parts of the body that feel like they're overstimulated at the moment. Letting your breath create an even sensation throughout your whole body, which is to say, to help you feel embodied from head to toe, to help you feel everything at once. And then your whole body becomes this wave of spaciousness and gentle constriction, of expansion and embrace. With that in mind, when you're ready to exit child's pose, please do so slowly, easily. And I'm going to have you come down onto your back. If it feels all right, the rolled blanket in this scenario is going to go under our neck. It is very likely too high for your neck. So roll your blanket out a little bit if you want to try this. Okay, we have our blocks nearby. We have our rolled blanket under our neck, and we can just kind of fluff it up into that space. We're not over curving our neck, right? We're just filling in the curve that's already in our neck, okay? Going from the base of the skull to the top of the shoulders, filling in the whole curve, right? So take a moment with that. You can even kind of fluff up the sides and push the sides a little closer to your neck. That's kind of nice. You can lengthen the back of your skull so your eyes look down. And from here, we're gonna take either knees bent, if you feel like that feels wonderful right now, or blocks to their second height, feet together, knees wide, and then the blocks are gonna tip a little bit. So the blocks are sitting on their corner, and the flat edge of the block sits against our thigh, maybe even our thigh and shin. I've been playing with that lately. It's not bad. It's kind of nice. Anyway, your legs are in a diamond shape. Your legs are supported by blocks so that you can relax your hips. Okay? And then let's all, no matter what pose you're in, take our palms to the top edge of our thighs and push down away from our chest. Push down away from our armpits. It depends where your legs are. Press our thighs toward our feet. Just gentle, just gentle. And then release your hands. And maybe it feels nice to take your hands to your belly. And take these smooth breaths here. Creating a ripple through the lower middle body. Ultimately, giving yourself the ability to ground, the ability to feel stable and safe. The ability to relax. And feel as that ripple through the middle of your body moves down to your feet. As it moves up toward the top of your head. And then please take one block out, lift your leg, take the other block out, lift your leg. Hug one knee in, hug the other knee in. If you need to move, go for it. If you need to circle your legs, go for it. Otherwise, just hold for a moment. We're going to make our way into Shavasana, okay? Again, I have used the blocks in a similar way to how we just used them. You would just turn them wide across your mat instead. You could take your blocks wide and at the second height, turn them slightly on their edge so the flat part of the block is touching the back of your thigh. So you've made a ramp for your thigh to sit flush against. If that feels good. And then you can kind of fluff up the blanket perhaps. You can make a little halo around your head so your head actually feels like it's in a nest. Yeah. And maybe that feels nice for you. Maybe that feels consoling for you. Take a deep breath in and release it completely out. Take a deep breath in and completely out. Try one more. And let your body rest in this liquid state. Letting the puddle that is you widen along the floor. Take a deep breath in and let it all the way out. If you're ready to come out of Shavasana, move your body. Roll onto your side. Make your way up into a seat. Once you feel planted in your seat, reach your arms up. Join your hands at your heart. One more time, take your head with your arms. Inhale, curl your head up. Exhale, head comes down as it watches the thumbs rest at the center of the chest. Take a moment to acknowledge what you're grateful for. A moment to acknowledge that you have the ability to relax, but it might take a little more thought and effort than usual right now. And that's okay, because we have the tools. Thank you for practicing. Namaste. Thanks for coming, you guys. Feel free to unmute and ask any questions or give me any insights you had.